Hi, it's Beth with today's installment of A Little Bit of Beth. So, over the past couple days, I've worked with two different organizations, and I have a feeling that there's a lot more out there going through the same thing. They've gone through this period based on new technologies, new systems that are available, all the changes happening in the world. So they've gone through this very intentional period of realigning, redeveloping systems, pulling things together in new ways. And it's really kind of this trajectory of the change process. And that's been great. And people have worked super hard and they've pulled off these tasks and they've created more effective ways to engage clients, more effective ways to engage each other. But now that they've done this, they're at this place where it's more about maintaining and sustaining what's been created and continuing to listen for, innovate, and adjust and adapt to what's been created. Very exciting. However, in both instances, each of these organizations have forgotten kind of to communicate in a crystal clear way. We're in a new place. We've reached a new place, and that place requires some behaviors and some competencies that are a bit different than the behaviors and competencies that got us to where we are right now. And so there's some frustration and tension in each of these organizations that the people who are doing the work, that did a great job getting the realignment, getting the shifts, getting the changes in place, doing the kind of head down, siloed, focused work on building where they need to be today, are now not completely showing up in the way they need them to in order to be in the maintenance and innovation and incremental shifting place for all of this work to stay meaningful, relevant, and valuable to the organization. In a nutshell, it's kind of the deep question of are the behaviors that got you to where you are today the same behaviors that are needed to continue on to the next level? And have you completely, firmly, and crystal clearly communicated down to every level of staff that there needs to be some behavior shifts? There needs to be some culture shifts, because what we're doing and how we're doing it and the sense of urgency around it have shifted. You know, when I asked this question crystal clearly to one of the organizations that I'm working with, the person who's heading up the whole deal just kind of sat there and really thought about it. And I know she believed she communicated it. I know she does. And I believe that she has communicated it. But has she communicated it in a way that people can really hear it and can really understand how their role and their behavior supports where they are right now? Have the new competencies that need to be introduced, working cross-departmentally, speaking up when roadblocks are seen, or when new ideas come forward, or shifts in the way we're doing things that can support the good of the whole good of the whole mindset. So we're no longer working to achieve our individual goals, our task focused goals, but now how are we having the mindset of the good of the whole? How are we doing that type of thinking process and rewarding people who are operating in that way. You know, the rule of thumb is when you need to communicate something, just when you believe that you have said it so much that you are sick of it, you can't say it anymore, you can't say it in any more ways. You've emailed it, you've held meetings on it, you've discussed it in individual meetings with people. Just when you are so sick of saying it, that's when you've started to say it enough. You know, I have a little story, and it involves my daughter, Annie. And I know my daughter, someone asked me if my daughters know that I talk about them all the time, and they do. They're really clear. They got clear on that at a very young age. My daughter, Annie, I was planning my move to California. It was a 4-year move. Took me 4 years to do it. So at the beginning of the 4 years, I told her we were moving. I told her I was moving when she was out of high school and kind of settled I was going. She could come with me or not. That was her choice. We took a trip to California. We toured the areas. We even looked at places to live. We looked at schools. We talked about where we might want to be and how life might be different. And I really felt like she wasn't getting it. She just wasn't hearing it. And I mean, we're like at year 2 of the 4-year moving plan. And I still felt like she wasn't hearing it. And I heard this thing on the radio that said there's a segment of the population that just doesn't hear information. It's not real to them until they see it in writing. And so at that time we had a computer and up on this balcony in our house. And so she would like to go up there in her free time and do what kids do on computers back that long ago, 20 years ago. And so I wrote on a big piece of paper, in 2 years, I am selling the house and moving to California. You can come with me, or you can stay here and continue your life, and I will help you to get that set up in whatever way you want it to look. And so I waited. She went up there and she was typing away and doing whatever she was doing. Her fingers were clacking. And all of a sudden I heard her go, "Wait, what? You're moving to California?" This had been a 2-year conversation. In that moment when she read it and saw it in black and white on paper, that was the moment she got it. So as you are going through change processes, achieving a new level and requiring skills and behaviors to shift with your people, know that just because you've said it doesn't mean they've heard it. And just because they heard it doesn't mean they want to do it or they know how to do it. So if you need help with this kind of change process, get in touch with me, support@bethwonson.com, and let's talk. Hey, I hope you have a great day. Talk to you soon.